I've been chilling for a few weeks, guys, but I'm coming back with this update because we got a very momentous event that just took place, I think yesterday, maybe a few days before that, and that is Bang the Hitter, man. The Rogers Park bully, man, the notorious Bang the Hitter, he's retiring from gangbanging, man. He's leaving PBG. He's dropping his flag. He does not gangbang anymore. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Bang the Hitter was, man, his government name is Keith. He's actually a Jamaican guy from the East Rogers Park neighborhood on the north side of Chicago, which is a neighborhood where I used to stay. And that's a very for people that like don't know anything about my channel and have never like been in tune with what's going on up there. It's a very interesting neighborhood. It's changed a lot. I was staying there back in like the late '90s, early 2000s, but it's a very eclectic neighborhood. Back then, the area where I stayed, I would say, was majority black, but there was a lot of black people from like different parts of the world. It wasn't all like American black people. You got a lot of Caribbean people, like Jamaicans, a lot of Belizeans, and then you also had like a lot of like Haitians, and then Africans too. That's where most of the African restaurants are in the Chicago area. It's the area that they refer to as the North Pole. Okay, so and the North Pole doesn't just include East Rogers; it includes I think West Ridge, Edgewater, Uptown. I don't know if it includes Andersonville. I don't think it does, but it's like a group of neighborhoods on the far north end of the city. Very eclectic neighborhood, very interesting neighborhood. It's been gentrified a lot since I lived there in the last 20 years. A lot of Jamaican immigrants, like Bang or Bang's parents, I think, are from that neighborhood, and some of them. It's interesting to see how some of them like get along, coming to the United States in that area because that's an area that has a long gang history. So some of them get involved in that, and some of them don't. Bang was one of the ones that did, and he chose. Well, I don't know about chose, but he just eventually got involved with the Gangster Disciples street gang off of Farwell and Ashland. It was a particular set that they called the Farwell family. Gangs start to name themselves after like people that die, but that's not usually like the official name of the gang. So technically, the name of that gang off of Farwell now is called the Insane Cutthroat Gangsters. That's what it's been known as, or ICG. That's the actual name of that set. But most people know it by the more popular name of PBG, which stands for Pooh Bear Gang, which is named after a guy named Anton Pooh Bear Sanders, who got killed, and he was their homie. The Farwell family was like the older generation, okay, and the Insane Cutthroat Gangsters is like that's just kind of like the general gang name, and then PBG is like the younger generation. They made the real young guys, the guys who were like younger than like the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha now, gangbangers that are coming up in that neighborhood. They may have their own name. I haven't been in tune with what's going on in there in a couple of years, so they may have their own gang set now. It's named after one of their dead homies. I don't know, but hopefully they're just letting it die. But I don't know. So they may still be claiming PBG, even though a lot of them didn't know Pooh Bear personally. But yeah, so that's the set that Bang got involved with, PBG over by Farwell and Ashland. I was like off of Lunt, which is just like a couple blocks away from that, and my building backed up to Morse, which is where they hang out at a lot. And I remember like the GDs over there. I've talked about this in a bunch of videos. They were very active at that time, always outside, always outside. Now, when the gentrification really started, I would say over the last 20 years, a lot of them like moved inside. That hasn't really happened on Howard as much. Howard, the guys are still pretty much always outside, but on Moore's they used to always be outside. But I slide through there now, just going back, visiting or whatever, and I never see anybody out there as far as gangbangers. I see, other people just like professional people, students, and everything walking their dogs and stuff like that. It's a neighborhood that's totally changed, but video isn't really about that. It's more about Bang, man, because I actually just wanted to congratulate him. He and I, at one point, if you guys have been with me, for those of you guys who have been with me from the beginning, know that we were into it big time for a while, like around 2016. That eventually got squashed. The way that happened, okay, so his set of GDs had gotten real famous, so that put the spotlight like on the north side where it had never really been before. as far as like Chicago gang banging and the drill scene. That's actually been going on up north forever. Like since even before I was living there, that's been going on up there forever. And a lot of like the famous guys from Chicago are actually from the north side, like Bo Deal, guys like that. They're actually from up north. A lot of people don't know; they think they're from other parts of the city. But up north has a lot of people that are from there, man. And the police were coming down real hard on that neighborhood at that time. And Bang was locked up. Bang had been locked up, I think, for selling dope over by a park where I always used to hoop at. It's off of Toohey Avenue, right at the lake. So he was locked up on that, on some little stuff. Okay, and then he had gotten out, and I was actually helping to promote them, which, at that time I was doing something that I regretted later, which is promoting drill music, man. I definitely regretted that because I see how the drill music is just like contributing to the violence. But anyways, at that time I was doing it. So I was interviewing all the drill rappers. So I was promoting PBG big time because, this was the gang from my old neighborhood. Like I see them making it. I was working specifically with a guy named Khan, Killer Khan, the Don. And, we were going to get an interview with him and like the rest of the guys. This is while Bang was still locked up. Okay. But the problem was, this is some stuff I can't talk about because there's another guy involved. But anyways, they had ended up, things had gotten tense between not me, but another guy who I was friends with and them. Okay. A guy whose name I can't say in the video, but a friend of mine. Okay. Who knew them. Things had gotten tense between them and him. Okay. So I had made a video where I had like threatened them. Okay. And I said that if they did something to my friend, that I was not going to handle it like a street guy, because I'm not a street guy. I said I was going to handle it by just letting the police know who did it. And not only was I going to let the police know that, I was also going to tell the police all the other stuff that had been going on in our neighborhood that they didn't know about, and potentially bring a bunch of cases on these guys. So basically, I threatened to rat them out. Okay, so knowing that I had lived there and stuff, I don't know how they took that, as far as like thinking that I actually had something that could get them locked up. But they reacted, obviously, basically just like putting me right in the same stuff, like, okay, you can get it too type stuff. So Bang, he was saying, basically that like I was an op now. Okay, like I was one of the ops, because what happened was, after they had did that, I started working with their enemies, okay, which is the Loke City GDs. I know it's all GDs, and that doesn't make any sense as far as like from the back in the day culture, but in this day and age, there's a lot of GDs into it with the other GDs. So the Loke City GDs who are their enemies, I started working with them, and Bang was like, okay, if you're working with them, then you're one of you can get it with them. Same type of thing. So we were like going back and forth on social media for a long time, like me and Bang, okay? And we were, wolfing at each other on the net. I never actually bumped into him in person. I bumped into some other gang members in the Uptown area in person, but I never bumped into Bang. There had been one incident where I had been at Loyola Park like 15 minutes before he got there, and I didn't even know that he was coming. It was just like pure chance. I just left out like right before he got there. But I never, I never actually like bumped into him in person. He never spotted me. Over the years, like I kept on coming back through that neighborhood all the time. Like even during the time when he and I were into it. So he would always make videos like, you were over here, and you should have done your interview a few blocks to the south and type stuff. Like Bang he's a really funny guy. Like he has a good funny personality, man. So, but then as time went by and other blogs started to do all the same stuff that I was doing, the culture changed to where that wasn't really seen as snitching anymore. And so, eventually it all blew over. I talked to Chemo, and we kind of squashed the whole thing, and Bang kind of let the whole thing die. He had gotten locked up for an incident over on Hooligans territory. They had gotten into a beef with the Stones from Wilson and Magnolia that they used to be clicked up with. And there was an incident over there that he had gotten locked up for. Now, he eventually beat that, I believe. I think he beat it. and came home, and he's been home for just a little bit, but he wasn't like the same dude that he was before he went in. Like I could tell as soon as he got out, like he was, doesn't come really as that big of a surprise to me, because I could see like he had changed, like he had matured after he got out of prison or out of jail. I mean, so yeah, shout out to Bang Man. You know, he's I think in his he's got to be like I think in his mid to late 30s now. So you know he's older and wiser. And this is what I tell a lot of the young guys. You know, you're not going to be on the same stuff in your 30s and 40s that you're on now, but you may still be locked up for stuff that you did now. So that's something they need to think about. But you know, he's changing his mentality, man. And I definitely congratulate him because what he's doing right now, man, it takes a lot of courage. You know that a lot of guys don't have. Like it takes a lot of courage because he's going against the culture of the neighborhood where he's from and where I'm from, and I know how that culture goes because I was not part of it myself, but I was surrounded by guys that were in it, and the peer pressure in that culture, man. No matter how old you are, it's insane. Like as soon as you want to drop your flag and get a regular job and get out of the streets, you got a whole bunch of people that are going to call you all type of stuff, and your reputation is never going to be the same. You're going to be looked at as somebody that turn their back. Like people are going to try to shame you. So it takes a lot of courage to do what he's doing, man. And definitely shout out and much respect to Bang the Hitter, man, because seeing the journey like from when he was like in his early 20s to now, he's been through a lot and been in a lot of stuff. But this is like a victory. I consider this a W, not a L. He's not. I don't see it as like he's running from anybody or running from the action or ducking the ops or anything like that. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. This is like this is what takes real courage is to do this, what he's doing, and dropping his flag, man. So, because that gangbang stuff just leads to jail or death. So I don't know if Bang has kids. I don't know of any kids that he has. I'm not sure. If he does, it's definitely the right decision for them. And you guys already know in the eyes of God, it's the right decision. So shout out to Bang, man. Much respect. It's your boy Chicago News. I'm out.